shall be live. We were trying earlier and it didn't work. We were trying to be using more sophisticated platform, and so if you guys were on that live, sorry for that. We had to redo it. So if you can see us, if you can hear us, this is Doug and Lenka, and we are bringing you another important piece of information, education. It's time to wake up, people, and realize what is going on. Because for the longest time, you could kind of feel that something is not right. I don't know about you, but I kind of was born into that feeling that the whole world seemed kind of upside down, and I had all these adults, telling me how to be, who to be, where to be, and all these things, and it just was not really making much of sense. And so since a little kid, actually both Duck and I, we were one of those kids who just didn't fit in, I guess because we were made to stand out, right? That's what happens, when you question everything and you become one of the kids in the classroom. Excuse me, I do not really understand this, and you are one of those kids who constantly ask questions, and why that, and why this. So this is why, because the whole world is pretty much upside down, and we've actually entered a very critical and interesting time in human history, and for those who have wakened up with some of the past events like 9/11, a lot of people went back to sleep. Then we had this fantastic scamdemic, right? And so it's been really a blessing because so many people really woke up and realized, oh my, something is not really right. And so just welcoming you all. It's a little chit chat here at the beginning before we dive in, bringing you tons of great information. You can always find the videos on replay on YouTube and other channels. We've been traveling around and doing interviews and spending time with different people. And it's just super exciting that so many people are interested in really learning the true history and what has happened to us and where did our rights went wrong, what really happened. So today we will be talking about something very interesting. We've been making a lot of posts and sending out a lot of information, and it created some confusion, which is actually good news. Because when people start asking questions, it's great, right? Because we are now employing the critical thinking. And so Doug and I today will be talking about the two governments, and maybe Doug, you can start with giving a little history. Where did all this started? Just a rough version, okay? So then we can get into what we really need to talk about today.
Well, most everything started in 1860 when Lincoln became the president of the corporation. It wasn't a corporation then, and Lincoln couldn't hold office in the de jure or the republic. So everything that Lincoln did from the point he took office on is null and void, because he didn't have any delegation of authority or power to do that. Matter of fact, he was barred from doing that because he was an esquire. So that's where everything started going wrong. In 1871, under the District of Columbia Act, the District of Columbia and the United States incorporated. The Virginia Company became the United States, and they were contracted to sell us 19 essential services until we became self-governing again. Well, instead of becoming self-governing again, what California did was they created a corporation by changing the Constitution to the 1879 Constitution, which changed the status and standing of the people without
I will pause you for a second, okay? So guys, very important. So when we declare independence and the first constitution for California was created was in 1849. That's the true organic constitution for California Constitution. And what Doug just mentioned is that what happened is that when Lincoln took over in 1861, then California followed the suit, and
1879.
well, yes, but it followed the suit, and then in 1879 the new constitution was created, which is really a corporate charter. That's how you have to think about it. So when all these public servants talk about the constitution and you get on their websites and that it's following the California constitution, what they are really talking about, the corporation that's talking about its own charter. That's a corporate charter that has nothing to do with the 1849 constitution. And this is very critical for all of you to comprehend, to really get a grasp on it. That what they did is they took the organic 1849 constitution and they mirrored it to a corporate, basically, policy. Is that true, Doug?
Kind
Yeah.
of. What they did was they came in and they changed the status and standing of the people. And what they did with 1879, not only was it a corporate charter, but it was a separate trust.
Now, why did they do that?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because they incorporated.
Right, and the reason is because corporation can deal only with the same entities.
Well, no, they incorporated because when the United States incorporated, what they did, the United States told them, hey, you have to do this, right? Otherwise, we're not going to deal with you, because they were kind of cheating with the money and bankruptcies and all this other kind of stuff, right? So, the original offices were abandoned, but the people didn't know it because they named the corporation in the state of California.
So this is how they fooled everyone.
Right, but what it was is okay, the first 1849 Constitution was a trust indenture. They set the laws of that trust under nature's God and God's laws and common law. Okay, law of the land. All right, well, what this did was it created another trust, and whoever creates the trust sets the law. So there were no people in this trust because there was only U.S. citizens under the 14th Amendment. So they tricked the people to give up their rights and participate in the corporation by registering to vote. When they register, Regis is the crown. Register, they put themselves right back under the crown. Okay?
And it was also during the Great Depression, when there were no jobs, there was no money.
No, when this happened, it was 1879, right? And it was after the war, and they were supposed to reconstruct the states,
Mm-hmm.
okay, back into the republics. But instead, they slipped this constitution in, all right? But it wasn't a real constitution. It was another trust. So those who create the trust set the law of the trust. So they set this law at Admiralty Maritime, administrative, commercial. The W, or the water in our law, LAW.
The word law.
Right. So the first trust was set aside, and so all of those emoluments, since a trust cannot fail for lack of a trustee, all those emoluments were sitting there just like abandoned property. That property belongs to we the people. Okay, that's our property. It was created by us, for us, and taken care of by us. Okay, so we were the beneficiaries of that trust. They switched it on us when they changed the people's status to debtors, and they made themselves the trust, the beneficiaries of the trust, and made us, or made these so-called entities that they created through this register to vote. Okay, that's where you gave up everything and became an asset for that corporation and chattel, and they've treated us like chattel ever since, because the other government that we've been guaranteed has been laying there abandoned, inoperative, and nobody's been told about it. Nobody knows about it, and nobody knows about anything about how to deal with it. So, right now, what it is what Lincoln and I and a guy
Well,
named
first, let's go. So what happened then? Then what happened in 1960?
well, okay, in 1960, the same corporation had uh, a ballot pamphlet that they put out that dealt with the constitutional issue of the 1879 Constitutional's effective date, the date it took effect. Okay, and they repealed that. Okay, and so by repealing that, they repealed the whole 1879 Constitution. Okay, and it never took effect. So that means that the only Constitution that exists today and is valid is the 1849 Constitution, which is completely a different trust under a different set of laws. All right, it's a whole complete different government. It has nothing. One's a corporation like McDonald's, and one's a legitimate government that was created by the people, of the people, and for the people.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And so this corporation has fraudulently, as a de facto government, I mean one that holds the guns, so they hold the power.
By
All right.
force. Yeah.
By force, okay, because our other government wasn't up and running. We weren't self-governing, so they believe that they have a right to sell us governmental services whether we need them or not at the point of the gun. Okay, there's not much that they think that we can do about it. All right. Now, what happened was, they abandoned the offices, but that trust is still there. So are the offices. Okay, you can go into the session laws, and when I mean session laws, the actual laws that the California legislature made and the things that they put together, the offices that they created, the counties that they created, the seats of justice that they created, it's all contained in the session laws. It shows what was created in the original Constitution and the original monuments, and it also shows what was abandoned because they're not operating today, if that's provable. All right. Well, there's two governments. All right. One has people in it, and one has citizens, persons, and residents. Okay. Legal entities that are corporate chattel. And I mean, from the time of birth, they perpetuate fraud against you through the birth certificate and, souling you by taking your heel print, your soul print. I mean, there's all kinds of weird stuff that they do that sounds so far out there that I'm not even going to get into it, but it's there and it's provable. So, you've got people that have taken these deep dives and gone down these rabbit holes because, well, under necessity, just put it that way, and found out a lot of things, okay, that have been hidden from us, that have been stolen from us.
Yeah, it's really incredible when we really think about it, because that was all done, before we were here, right? And when you have people like that who are in charge, what do? They put their own people into educating your children and our children, and that happened to our parents and their parents, right? So now we have transgenerational indoctrination into their narrative. They literally sold us their story. They do not want people to know this. They do not want people to really comprehend what's going on. And this is why I really truly believe that, all these events like this pandemic was blessing, because it really it slapped so many people in face that they had to start questioning, hey, what's really going on? Like, what kind of government do we really have? But what we really have to comprehend is that this goes way back before we came. So when constructive fraud and deceit and tyranny is all well, then it becomes a norm, right? But it's really super exciting that so many people are just saying no. Enough is enough, and it's really uncovering so many other things that we just feel are not right in our life. And we are now demanding answers. We are demanding that things get corrected, that we really bring the constitutional republic, the republican form of government that's guaranteed to us by our framers. And so the message from today is very important, that you really need to get the concept is that what you thought is your government is really not what it appears. That's why it's called de facto, because it's bad, because that's all there is, because the true government of we the people have been vacant. All those seats been vacant under the organic 1849 Constitution, and then something happened. Doug, what happened?
Well, some people claimed those seats.
Wow! So some people actually did the due diligence and realize that we've been all fooled by these smart, clever, corporate, mercenaries that are pretending to be our servants. But when you have servants that are actually more acting like the kings and queens and your rulers, then you need to really start standing up and start asking questions. How is this possible? So what happened?
Well, no, what people need to do is realize there's two trusts or two governments operating right now. Okay, we legitimately made the proper claims to the abandoned property, to the proper people and the proper officials. Okay, and we did all of the proper and necessary documentation and things to correct the status, standing, and status to be able to hold these seats in de jure. Okay, and being the fact that we made the claims and nobody else would do it, we stood up and claimed the seat of the governor in the de jure. So as of right now, I'm the acting governor, and I want to say this again, I'm the acting governor, because what I did was, as a beneficiary of that trust, I saw that there was something wrong and that there was nobody to fix it and nobody willing to fix it. And so out of necessity, or what's called the law of necessity, through my conscience and common cause, and I took command of the situation because nobody else would, and I swore into that seat to operate this office and keep it open until we can have lawful elections and properly fill this office with somebody that wants to hold it. Okay?
And wants to actually serve
wants
people.
to actually serve the people. Okay?
And the republic.
But as the acting governor, it's my right to do this because I did my due diligence and nobody else wanted to. And believe me, I went around California and tried to get everybody to do it. So, I did it. Okay, and so what happens now is I'm going to operate this office and I'm going to keep it open. California Republic's open for business now. And we sent our oaths to the Secretary of State to be filed, and the Secretary of the United States to be filed, given notice that we took those offices under necessity. And we sent a quo warranto today that was served via certified mail to the district court on the private side, but then to Donald Trump for notice, Marine General Trollinger at MARSOG for notice, and then we served Gavin Newsom and
Couple counties.
the counties, San Luis Obispo County and Orange County. We served their principals. So what the quo warranto is, is we know and we have evidence that the 1879 California Constitution was repealed, November 8th, 1960. All right? I mean, that's a matter of public record. It's in the archives. The actual ballot pamphlet's in the archives at the Secretary of State, where you can get a certified copy if you want it. All right? So, being that's repealed, that means the effective date that it took, the date that it took effect was repealed. So that means it never took effect. So that means that the 1879 Constitution doesn't exist. So that means that all these offices that Gavin Newsom and all these other corporate democracy, I don't know what you want to call them, demons or whatever, the offices and monuments that they hold were dissolved. They were repealed. Okay, and another important thing, people, and you really need to go look at this. Go look up Article 6, Section 9 of the California Constitution. Okay? And you'll see that Article 6, Section 9 of the 1879 California Constitution created the California Bar Association as a public corporation and part of the judicial branch of the government, right? Well, first off, the 1849 Constitution forbid that, but we'll throw that to the side for a minute. And the fact that when the 1879 California Constitution was repealed, that repealed the California Bar Association. Okay, so since it's been repealed, and since the 1879 Constitution, which they claim, and I mean all these cops, all these policy enforcement agents, they're corporate agents, they're called corporate mercenaries, in violation of the Anti-Pinkerton Act. Okay, but get into that later. What happens is they're applying and enforcing these codes through their scope of authority, which they're claiming is 1879 Constitution, which has been repealed for over 61 years. So they've been extorting money, all right, through corporate piracy, okay, under Admiralty law for over 61 years, all right?
So what's very important to really remember is that all these codes, statutes, and regulations, ordinances, and all that stuff, it's null and void. It's not in effect officially since 1960, November 8, 1960.
And they've known about it because February 2nd, 1998, in the LA court, Church of Scientology was awarded a $190 million judgment based on these same things. So it's not only been a matter of public record, but it's been a matter of court record, okay, since 1998. Yet they still proceed with their private administrative courts, bar courts, all right, which are operating as banks, okay, and they're bringing you in as a debtor and ward of the state because you hire an attorney or another bar member, which gives them the third member they need to get into your CSKB trust, okay, because there's 3 parts to a trust. Now it's fulfilled. Only you're not the beneficiary, you're the trustee.
And that will be another great subject for another video, because we don't have really lawful money, and so this is how money is created. Okay, and it will be just blowing your mind what really is going on, and we the people, haven't been really even aware of that. So for now, what's very important message from this chat is that to really comprehend that there were these 2 constitutions. So anything you see now in the public is based on the repealed 1879 Constitution, which all these code, statutes, ordinances have been based upon. And because that Constitution, 1879 Constitution, was repealed on November 8, 1960, all of these code, statutes, and regulations went along with it. So they are null and void. They cannot be lawfully, they are not lawfully valid. It's null and void ab initio.
So what I did is this quo warranto, is I'm asking them by what authority are they acting?
Are they operating?
They got to show me an unbroken chain of constitutionally delegated power to operate in the name of the people as it specifically applies to me and everybody else. Okay, from the time of the 1849 Constitution to the present date, they can't do that. that means that they can't hold that office because that's not a valid office or a lawful emolument in our republic. Now, their corporation, they can do what they want. So what it comes down to, people, is you've got two governments operating. Okay, this is a free will universe. Okay, that means that you have free will, and there's a thing called self-determination. Only you have the right to determine who and what you are and where you are. Okay, that's your God-given right. So, right now, you have a right to self-determination, and you can remove yourself from the corporation and come home to the republic if you so choose. We're going to try to make it easier, and I'm trying to get a website up and running. It should be operable here real soon, and that way Californians can go to their county, and if you want to join the republic, there'll be jural covenants there, and you just sign the jural covenant under penalty of perjury that that's your choice and self-determination, right? And then you're out of there.
Right, and so what it means is that basically you are leaving the corporation that turned you into the ward of the state after the 14th Amendment. You became U.S. citizen. You became person, resident, taxpayer, citizen, U.S. citizen, and now you are basically part of that corporation. If you no longer choose to be a ward of the state, you expatriate and return back to the land, California state with a small s. That's the constitutional republic. That's the guaranteed Republican form of government that's been set by our founders, and we will try to make it as simple as possible so you can finally start enjoying the liberties and freedoms that have been all promised to us. And
well, look, see, everybody, you've got a bunch of people that are trying all these different methods to help you get back your status.
yeah,
Well,
we will simplify it.
I'm trying to simplify it. You got to understand, as acting governor, I'm not your elected official. Okay, I'm stepping in here and I'm operating this as basically I'm a beneficiary, but I'm acting as a trustee for the benefit of the people under trust law. So this is being done under trust law. It's not being done through any election or anything else. It's being done because it's my right and my duty to do it as a man and a Californian. Okay, so the things that I can do, or the things that I'm going to try to do to help you guys out, is I'm going to try to put this website up so that instead of going through all this paperwork and stuff, okay, California will accept if you sign in and become part of the jural society of the county that you live in and want to participate. And what I mean by participate is you agree to serve on